According to the United States Energy Information Administration, in order to create electricity, the U.S. is currently creating 1,671 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions a year. This is done by burning coal, natural gas, and petroleum, but coal accounts for the majority of the carbon dioxide emissions. The reason why I'm speaking to you is because I want to inform you about the use of nuclear energy in the U.S. today. I believe that you can trust me due to the extensive research that I have done on this topic, and I have found three main points that I would like to speak with you today. The first being the statistics of the use of nuclear energy, the second being the environmental impact of nuclear energy, and finally the third being the economics behind nuclear energy. The first thing that I will be talking about today is the statistics on the use of nuclear energy today. According to the World Nuclear Association's paper on nuclear power in the United States, the U.S. is the world's largest producer of nuclear energy. We account for more than 30% of the worldwide nuclear generation for electricity. Currently, 20% of the U.S.'s electricity comes from nuclear reactors, which means that we produce around 807 billion kilowatts of energy a year. Out of the 50 states of the United States, more than 30 of those have at least one nuclear reactor. And out of the entire U.S., we have 96 nuclear reactors. I've just finished talking about the statistics on the use of nuclear energy today, and I will now be moving on to my second main point, being environmental impact of nuclear energy. According to the United States Energy Information Administration, nuclear reactors do not produce a direct carbon emission, which means that whenever we create energy, unlike coal plants, whenever they burn the coal, nuclear power plants do not create a carbon dioxide emission. But nuclear power plants do constantly release low levels of radioactivity into the environment. Now, the degree of the damage of these low levels of radiation that cause to wildlife, plants, and the ozone layer is not fully understood yet, but we are currently doing more research to determine the magnitude of these effects. Also, a lot of reactors use water to cool down the nuclear rods, and after the water is cooled, then we return it back to the ocean or the river. And whenever that water is returned, it's usually 25 degrees warmer than it originally was, which could have high impacts on the environment. I have just finished talking to you about the environmental impact of nuclear energy, and I will finally be moving on to my last point, which is the economics behind nuclear energy. Costs for nuclear power plants are driven primarily by the upfront construction costs due to the capital that is needed to create these. It's around $4,000 per kilowatt, meaning that if we wanted to create a nuclear power plant, it would cost around $4 billion. But due to the federal subsidies and the incentives that they give out, the energy industry can significantly be altered, and the cost structure and ultimately the competitiveness of whether we create a coal or natural gas power plant or a nuclear power plant. If we were to create a modern carbon tax, it could significantly increase the appeal of nuclear energy due to the fact that as we burn more coal and natural gas, more carbon dioxide is released into the environment, which means that they would have to pay a higher carbon tax, making it more appealing to create a nuclear power plant in the long run. In conclusion, the three main points that I wanted to speak to you today were the first, the statistics on the use of the nuclear energy today, the environmental impact of nuclear energy, and the economics behind nuclear energy. I've given you these basic facts and statistics about nuclear energy and these three main points because I wanted to inform you about its use today.